You don't have a motivation problem or a discipline problem. You have a dopamine sequencing problem. The order you feed your brain stimulation in determines whether work feels like torture or feels automatic. You've been told that discipline is a personality trait, that some people are just built different. They wake up, they lock in, they grind, and you don't because you're lazy. That's not what's happening. The actual difference between someone who studies for 6 hours without checking their phone and someone who can't survive 15 minutes without opening it isn't willpower. It's what they did in the first 10 minutes after they woke up. And if you're still doing what 90% of people do the second their alarm goes off, you are chemically sabotaging the next 8 hours before your feet even hit the floor. I went through the actual neuroscience on dopamine regulation, pulled from researchers like Lembke at Stanford, who spent years studying reward and addiction, and cross-referenced it against what genuinely high-output people do differently in their mornings. Not the productivity guru version, the mechanism. In this video, I'm breaking down the 3 dopamine mistakes that are quietly making your work feel unbearable, and the exact protocol to flip that switch so studying, working, or building something actually starts to feel good instead of like pulling teeth. The first mistake happens before you've even gotten out of bed, and it feels completely harmless. In fact, it feels like the opposite of a mistake. It feels like relaxing. You reach for your phone. 5 minutes, you tell yourself, just to check what happened overnight. This feels like a warm-up, a gentle entry into the day. Nobody thinks of scrolling Instagram at 6:47 a.m. as a decision with consequences. It feels neutral, free. It's not neutral. Your dopamine level when you wake up sits at a resting baseline. Call it 100%, purely for reference. Notifications, short-form video, and social feeds are engineered around unpredictable rewards, which is the single most potent dopamine trigger there is. Slot machines use the same mechanism. That 5-minute scroll can spike your dopamine well above baseline. And here's the part nobody explains. Your brain doesn't let a spike sit there. It responds with an equal and opposite correction to drag you back to baseline. Except it doesn't stop at baseline. It overshoots below it. Lembke calls this the pain side of the pleasure-pain balance. So by 7 a.m., before you've done a single productive thing, your dopamine is sitting below where you started. Now you sit down to study or work, and your brain is comparing that task against the spike it just got. Of course it feels like garbage. You rigged the comparison against yourself. The rule is simple and it's non-negotiable. No dopaminergic input, no phone and no social media, no music with lyrics, nothing designed to reward you unpredictably for the first 60 to 90 minutes after waking. Your phone stays on airplane mode or in another room. This isn't about phones being bad. It's about sequencing. You are simply refusing to spike before you've earned the spike. Once someone fixes the phone problem, they run straight into a second trap that's arguably worse because it disguises itself as self-improvement. You start watching videos about discipline, morning routines, dopamine detoxing, videos exactly like this one, and you feel productive while doing it. You're researching, you're learning the science. 45 minutes later, you've watched 4 videos on how to stop wasting time, and you haven't done a single unit of actual work. This is what researchers call the intention-action gap, and content consumption is the most socially acceptable way to live inside it. Watching a video about studying activates almost none of the same cognitive systems as actually studying, but it produces a small, comfortable dopamine hit from learning about productivity that requires 0 of the friction that real productivity requires. It's a loophole your brain found, and it will keep finding it unless you close it deliberately. Consuming advice about a system is not the same as running the system. Apply a hard cap, 1 piece of input, 1 unit of output before you consume again. Watch 1 video on a study technique, then immediately apply it to real material for at least 20 minutes before you're allowed to watch another. If you can't name the specific action you took because of the last thing you consumed, you're not learning. You're snacking on motivation content, and it has the exact same effect on your output as junk food has on your energy. A spike, then a crash, then a craving for more of it. Even if you fix your mornings and stop the content snacking, there's a deeper shift that determines whether any of this sticks past week 2. Most people think the goal is to build enough willpower to resist your phone every single morning forever through sheer force. This is exhausting, and it's also why 90% of morning routine attempts die within 10 days. You're fighting the same battle daily, instead of removing the need to fight it at all. People who sustain this long-term aren't winning a daily willpower fight. They've restructured their environment and their identity so the fight rarely happens. If your phone is in the room, charged, unlocked, and within arm's reach, you are relying on willpower, a finite, depleting resource to beat a device engineered by teams of people whose entire job is to beat your willpower. You will lose eventually, not because you're weak, because that's a rigged fight. The people who actually maintain this identify as someone who doesn't touch the phone before work. Full stop. The same way a non-smoker doesn't spend willpower each morning deciding not to smoke. It's simply not part of who they are anymore. 2 moves. First, environmental. Phone physically out of the bedroom or on airplane mode across the room before you sleep. Not a morning decision, a nighttime one, made once. Second, identity-based. Before you study, spend 60 seconds stating the specific person you're being that day. Not, I should study, but I am someone who does deep work before I touch dopamine. That's not a fluffy affirmation. It's priming. Research on implementation intentions shows specific identity-framed commitments made in advance dramatically outperform in-the-moment willpower decisions, because you've already made the decision before temptation shows up to argue with you. Fix the sequencing of your morning, stop mistaking productivity content for productivity, and stop relying on willpower to win a fight that's rigged against you by design. And studying stops feeling like something you have to force yourself into. It starts feeling like the default because you removed everything competing with it for your dopamine. You can protect your dopamine perfectly and still waste 4 hours because you don't actually know how to study efficiently. You're just doing it with better focus. Fixing your input doesn't fix a broken method. If you're serious about actually becoming the version of yourself that does this without a fight, subscribe to Grit Workshop. Every week, we break down the psychology and systems behind people who quietly outperform everyone else.